Hello, thank you for stopping by the channel. My name is LynzloByChoice and we are building here in The Sims 4. This is a low income, lower budget starter home in The Sims 4. Specifically, I built this in a lot in Brittleton Bay. That is the world that we got with the Cats and Dogs expansion pack. I actually like this a little bit more. I got a new reshade. Please let me know if you like this. I wanted to go for something a little bit more realistic, so this is a smaller home too. It's only a 1 bedroom, 1 bath. It's closed off a little bit. There's not a lot of space on the inside. Again, this is a starter home, so we have to be a little bit more mindful with our space. And I was really struggling towards the end because I had used so much money earlier and there were so many things that I still wanted to add. Like, I couldn't add a lot of clutter. I didn't want to use a lot of debug things because when you add a lot of debug, like cups, plates, and stuff like that, it'll start to smell. And no, that's just not good for gameplay. So I didn't add that. I did go in for debug for the fences and a lot of the landscaping aspects, but we'll definitely get into that a little bit later. So right now we're working on the kitchen. I decided to go for a complete carpeted home with an exception in the kitchen and in the bathroom. So we have this beautiful tile. I always think of this as an older home or as an older tile, so that is why I put that there. We have, you know, a mix between really nice counters and then some are a little bit run down, just a little bit. I do want to add a little bit of clutter, so we add some dishes there, a fresh bowl of fruit. I do end up adding like a fish tank, a small one. There's some plates. I did want to add that cup there, but by the end of the video the cup is no longer there. I don't know when it actually left the build, but by the time I was taking the screenshots, I had noticed that it wasn't there. So that's it for the kitchen. I don't go back until I'm adding in some wallpaper. Right now we're working on the bathroom, and I actually love that toilet. That toilet is so expensive, but it's so realistic to me that I wanted to add that in. So this bathroom ends up having a tub shower combo and then just a basic sink and toilet. I do end up adding a lot more decorations in this small room. Like, there's the toilet paper on the wall, and on top of the toilet I end up adding a plant, some toothbrush, a toothpaste, things like that. Like, I still want it to look like a very realistic home, so I hope you can see that at least in the bathroom. I ended up using some very expensive wallpaper, but I felt like it was necessary comparing, you know, how dirty the carpet looks. I needed a little bit of something to give it that edge. We end up having a fireplace here, and over in the fireplace is actually where the living room is, and I end up using the couch that we got from the basement clutter kit, or it's basement something, and we end up having a small TV, a lamp. I end up going back in there a little bit later, but I do end up adding an end table and a rug out in that main space when you walk through the front door. Now the bedroom, on the other hand, this is a little bit empty, and that's because I'm looking at the funds. Look at the funds. Yeah, and it's not a lot. So we're working on a budget completely. I do end up putting that bed there, but I do end up switching it out with the cheap bed that we got from Eco Lifestyle, and then I come back out and I add a desk, a chair, and a plant out in that living room space just to add a little bit more. There's this cutoff space in the living room, and I just need to add something to it. And I had to get a little bit creative, so I end up using that dresser that we got from the Horse Ranch expansion pack out in this main area before you go into the living room. I really wish I could do a little bit more, but the funds were not there, y'all. I had so much fun doing this because I usually just like to build without any restrictions, but I realized that I'm able to tap into a little bit more of my creativity. But for this one, I did want to give off a more realistic feel. So I definitely had to tap into some more of my inner creativity for that. But also, I wanted to do that because of this reshade. I wanted something a little bit more realistic. I see a lot of like hyper realistic Sims builds, and although I don't play with a lot of CC, I do want to tap into that a little bit more, especially because I like making realistic builds in terms of clutter, but I also want it to be realistic in general. One thing I really love about this is I put the laundry unit out on the porch. It's a washer and dryer out on that front porch. Yes, it is. I end up taking out all the light and end up adding some on the wall and then like a main ceiling one. Like I wanted it to be very realistic, and you can see the red all over this. I couldn't even add a bunch of chairs to this. I could only add 4 chairs, and these are the chairs that we got from the Horse Ranch expansion pack. I'm not gonna hold you. I definitely think we could have done a smaller table for this, but this space was so large. It's like I needed to add that big circular table because the rectangular one didn't really look that good, if I'm being honest. And I would have loved to like clutter up that space in the corner, both the corner with the countertop and then the corner over by that window, but we didn't have the funds. So all I could do is go with this gallery wall, and that depleted our funds. But that is really all that is inside of this house. I do end up adding a few more things of clutter here and there. I do have a food bowl because we are in Brittleton Bay, so I wanted to add one for, you know, a little pet. And then from there, I open up Debug, and we're just going to town with as many small plants as we can because these don't cost any money. So we end up having a lot of overgrown grass. I have some trees everywhere. And then the hardest part was definitely having to find a fence. And I wanted like a taller one when I first started looking, but I came across one that I was just like, this will do. This will definitely do. And it was not too tall, but it was also like just the perfect size, I think, for this house. Now, the yard, on the other hand, that is pretty massive. I don't know why. I just kept using the fences until, you know, I was like, okay, that's good enough. I actually think this yard is both too big but also just right. I don't really know. I think it's really just because we ran out of money, and so I couldn't add any more activities or anything. We really just depended on the landscaping of it all, and so that's why we have trees everywhere and also like some grass and things. I was able to add a plot, so if you go around or if you order some fruit off of, you know, your phone or computer or something like that, you could go ahead and start gardening. And I guess that's a way for you to start renovating this. I definitely think this home would be a perfect contender for like a renovating challenge. So if you'd like to do that, that's definitely a fun option. It's always a challenge trying to find bushes and things like that in Debug because it'll look so small, but it takes up 4 tiles. And so when you place it really close to a platform, it just raises all of a sudden. And that's always fun. I don't think I look forward to that whenever I build, but this time I think I did a pretty decent job. I was able to find some things in Debug that they have in the actual catalog, and that made it just a little bit easier for me. A game changer in every build is definitely terrain paint, so I wanted to include that here as well. So we end up having a walkway, and I end up lining it with dirt and then doing the same thing for the house. That makes it so realistic, adding that dirt around it like it's been planted. I really enjoyed creating this. If you do want to download this in your game, you can. It's not a limited pack build, I'm sorry, but if you do want to download it, you definitely can. It's up on the gallery. My name is LynzloByChoice on there, and it should be under the name of this lot, but I also have it tagged in the comments saying that this is a home for a lower budget. It's a starter home, so it's a little bit over 20,000 simoleons, but not that much. If you made it this far, I definitely want to say thank you for stopping by and, you know, supporting. I enjoy building in The Sims, and I definitely enjoy being able to share it. If you like this, please like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because we have fun here over here at the Lynz Den. I'm definitely trying to maintain my footing in terms of content creating, as well as having a full-time job and, prioritizing the mentals. Creating content is definitely a happy place for me, so I'd love to continue to do it. And liking and subscribing is a way for me to know that you are enjoying the content. If you have any suggestions on things that you'd like to see on the channel, please let me know in the comments. I am down for suggestions. And with that, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you again here at the Linden. Goodbye.